Oh, I've been waiting a long time for this one. Community. Welcome back to my television reviews. It's been a very long time. Not only have I neglected this specific segment on my channel, but in general I've been lacking. But there are good reasons for that. I've been sick and I've been busy. And I'm really sorry, but I'm back. Yay! So let's talk about one of my all-time favorite TV shows, like ever. Community. And a word of warning to all you guys, this review will mainly cover seasons 1 till 3 because I consider this to be the show Community. Everything after is mild entertainment at best. So what is Community all about? Community starts off with Jeff Winger, who's our main character. He's played by Joel McHale and he's a sleazy guy. He's an asshole. He used to be a lawyer, but his license got revoked because turns out it's not actually from Columbia University. No, it's a fake degree from Columbia, the country. That alone is funny. So he has to start college all over again. He enrolls in community college, well, because it's cheap as hell. The show picks up 2 weeks after he enrolled in college, and this being a community college, he also has to fulfill all of his liberal arts classes and language requirements. So he enrolled in a Spanish class. There, he soon gets the hots for Britta, a fellow student. So he lies to her because lying used to be his entire life. He tells her he's a certified Spanish tutor, only, to bang her, essentially. The down part of that is that she actually brings along an entire study group. And this show uniquely follows the misadventures of this study group. And it's awesome. Right there, you have one of the most amazing casts of all time. Seriously, when I think of great comedy casts, we got Friends and Community, I guess. These are like the two greatest comedy ensemble casts of all time. But I'm gonna break them all down to you. First up, Jeff Winger. I talked about him before. He's an asshole. I mean, he's an opportunist. He always manipulates everyone. He always has a speech in the back of his head prepared to make people do his bidding, but he also has sort of a heart of gold underneath, and he has the hots for Britta. However, Britta is sort of like Lisa Simpson without the actual virtues. Yeah, she's pretty much everything that's wrong with the liberal society in modern day. She is very pretentious. She pretends to care about human causes, but actually she's just virtue signaling, and yeah. However, both of them have the hots for one another, but they're stubborn, so nothing really happens between them, which is a very smart thing. Dan Harmon, the creator of the show, explained why none of our characters ever start a relationship with one another, because he said it will fuck up the group dynamic, and it is true. Not only is that true for television shows, this also applies to reality. I know that myself. I've been part of a lot of groups of friends, and every single time people started dating, the dynamic was just unbalanced. I only know one show that managed to do that, and that is actually Friends. Yeah, when you have Monica and Chandler, both of them were still amazing characters after they got together. But yeah, it's good that they did that. Then we got Abed. Abed is probably the person I can relate to most because he lives and breathes movies and pop culture. This guy just references movies, 80s, 90s, and pop culture in general. He acts as if the study group and their misadventures was a TV show, which is funny, which creates the greatest meta humor I have ever seen in any show ever. Then we got Alison Brie portraying Annie Edison, and she is just a blast. She is probably the smartest of the group, the most hardworking, but also the youngest of the group. And you can really tell that she tends to be passive aggressive. She can also be a complete badass while also being ridiculously hot and cute. And the way she works off with all the other members of the group is just tremendously great writing. Seriously, I love her so much on this show. Which brings me to Shirley. Shirley is the hardcore religious one of the bunch. Yeah, she's a hardcore Christian mother, and she pretty much shoves her religion down everyone's throat, and it's just a blast. But you can also tell that she is also heavily passive aggressive and that she tends to judge everyone else by her standards, which does create a lot of comedic gold. Which brings me to Pierce, played by Chevy Chase. Oh my god, talk about a comeback role. This is probably Chevy Chase at his absolute best. He plays the old, sort of racist dude of the group. Yeah, I mean, he enrolled in college because he's bored and he's got nothing else to do. So he's just there, and he constantly says something that some people would consider horribly offensive, but it's just the way his mind works, and it's hilarious. He's the one that the group hates the most, yet he creates some of the most comedic genius moments of the entire show. Last but not least, we got Troy. And Troy, played by Donald Glover, is amazing. The funny thing is that you watch the first couple episodes, and he is sort of the typical quarterback. He's into sports and athletics, but as soon as he and Abed gravitate to one another, this show goes from good to great. Seriously, these two have one of the greatest bromances of all time. And yeah, this is where the show starts to get meta, because these two really commit to the meta humor. What I really love about the show, aside from the brilliant cast, is the fact that it really pushed the boundaries in terms of what a 20-minute comedy is able to do. The concept episodes of every season are insane, and there are so many of them. You want an action episode that harkens back to Die Hard? You got that. Yeah, there's a full-on paintball war going on, and everyone treats it with such an amount of seriousness that it's just awesome. Seriously, for 20 minutes, you feel like you're watching an action episode. The Halloween episodes are great. Greatest Halloween specials ever since Trios of Horror from Simpsons. Seriously. They actually managed to give us a zombie episode, and it was awesome. You want to see an Armageddon spoof? You got that. Everything is possible in this show. Everything. And the supporting cast is also great. First up, Ken Jeong, the dude from The Hangover. He is the Spanish teacher. Yes, Senior Chang. He is hilarious, and the great thing about him is they pretty much tried out something new with him every single season. Seriously, in the first one, he's the Spanish teacher. In the second one, he's a student. In the third one, he becomes a security guard. And it just gets crazier and crazier. He's awesome. And the Dean is one of the weirdest characters I've ever seen on any show ever. He starts out crazy, and he gets crazier with every season. Seriously, he picks out crazy outfits every time he wants to announce something to the study group, and it's comedic gold. And he has the hots for Jeff, and in a very creepy manner. Even though the concept episodes are great, the humor really works for me since I'm a movie buff. The greatest thing about this show is the cast. Those 7 people just have amazing chemistry, and you can throw them in a room together and be entertained, which is why my favorite episodes happen to be bottle episodes. You just have them working off of one another, and it's awesome. The dialogue is fantastically written, and the comedy basically writes itself. Not a single one of our main characters is actually a good person. Really, when you think of it, none of them are. Jeff Winger is probably the biggest asshole. Everyone always gives Pierce a hard time, but to be honest, Pierce is the only one that at least is aware of the fact that he's an asshole. Jeff Winger, in my opinion, is the biggest asshole on the show. Britta Perry, I already mentioned her before. She does a lot of virtue signaling, but to be honest, she doesn't care. She really doesn't care about other people. She just wants people to think that she does. Abed, he is so crazy and autistic about movies that he puts his friends in crazy situations only to play out a scenario that he likes to see. Troy now and then tends to ignore anyone of the group except for Abed because he's his best friend. So also not the greatest person. Annie considers herself the superior one because she is the smartest of the group, but I mean, she is pretty arrogant. Shirley pretty much judges everyone because of her stupid religion, and Pierce, yeah, he is an old fossil that still has some fucked up beliefs. And right there, that's awesome. And most of the time, when you have characters like this, you're like, okay, they're all assholes. What's the point? But you love those guys. They're lovable. And there's even one episode where they have to interact with another classmate. And this is the episode where you realize, whoa, they're all assholes. This poor dude has to sit through hours of studying with these people while they're baggering back and forth. And it's comedic gold. It is surely comedic gold. Now I have to talk about the fact that there are some seasons that I don't like as much. Well, first of all, season 4 is the one season that, despite the fact that Dan Harmon didn't write it, I'm still okay with it because it at least has the cast. But during season 5, they got rid of Chevy Chase and Donald Glover, and the group dynamic was completely fucked. Even though the writing got better and the concept episodes were really clever, it didn't work for me any longer because the magic of the show are these characters. I mean, picture Friends without Joey or Monica. It's not Friends anymore. I mean, Friends is a show that is based on these group of people and the way they interact with one another under very different conditions. The same goes for Community. And once you start removing core characters, yeah, the show is fucked. And in season 6, they got rid of so many characters and tried to introduce 2 new ones. They even brought in Keith David, who I love, but he just didn't work for me in the show because the dynamic didn't work any longer. But overall, I can tell you, if you have not seen Community yet, and if you're a movie fan, check it out. You will not regret it. This is one of the most hilarious, creative shows I've ever seen. It has a surprisingly amount of heart, but overall, it has some of the best writing I've ever seen in a comedy show. I normally don't hand out medals or anything for television reviews because I never used to do that. But if I were to rate Community, I'd give it a gold medal. So Community, are you a fan? Are you not? Do you want to see a movie? Because yeah, it was supposed to be 6 seasons in a movie. Let me know in the comment section below. And by the way, I will give you a top 10 list of my favorite Community episodes. Can't wait to give you this one. In any case, thank you guys as always for watching. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then just subscribe.